Okay, guys, it is Monday. Bitcoin is down to under 86,000 right now. NASDAQ is sliding here. Hope you guys had a good long weekend. We didn't stream Friday. I woke up, honestly, and anybody, that was watching the chat saw me in the chat, but we didn't end up streaming just because the futures market was closed. Didn't open up until like 8:30. News was light, half day. We just decided to take the day off. So my apologies, guys. But yeah, markets are down. Bitcoin is down more than everything. And it's a scary market this morning. Scary market. So we do have ISM manufacturing PMI today. We got a lot of stuff going on this week. We got like inflation and more. I think we got GDP, or they might actually be skipping GDP, but we got PCE inflation. We got the non-farm employment change data Wednesday. Thursday, we got jobless claims. Bitcoin has slid about 5% below the 90,000 level. It's right around 86,000 right now, a little bit under that actually. Yeah, this is another fresh leg down for Bitcoin. Microchips are down. You can see Nvidia on the top one here. It's breaking down right now. Might be on some news. Let me check. Goldman Sachs announces agreement to acquire Innovator Capital Management. I think that's going to move it. Yeah, markets are a little scary this morning. We're down again for the first day of December here. I saw a stat that said every time November is red, which is generally green, December is red as well. I'll have to go back and look to see whether that's crypto specific or whether that includes broad markets. But yeah, stuff's scary this morning, guys. We're scary this morning. What's up, Farmer, Brian, John, Money Machine, Axel, Ilios, RV, Tron, Todd, on Steve? What's up, man? Congrats. D BA 20. Yeah, Japanese rate decision is affecting this for sure. Oil's up though. If you take a look at oil, here's the NASDAQ here. Make sure this is good. Yeah, so the big drop in crypto again, closely tied to Japan's central bank signaling a likely rate hike later this month, scaring markets, unwinding the dynamic. So the Bank of Japan Governor Ueda gave us clear signal that the Bank of Japan will probably raise rates at its December 18th and 19th meeting, lifting the chance to a rate hike to about 75 to 80%. It's pushed the 10-year government bond to its highest level since 2008. Here, 1.86%. Strengthened the yen. Yeah, so the yield is near 1.86%. So it's its highest level since 2008. Crypto markets negatively reacted to this, fell about 5%. ETH dropped roughly 5%. Analysts are saying this is a broader retreat from risk assets. Bitcoin is acting as a leading indicator of risk sentiment right now. So basically risk off, Bitcoin goes down, risk on, Bitcoin goes up. Japanese equity sold off as well. The Nikkei down nearly 2%. Japanese government bonds hit, traders price in tighter monetary policy. So Powell speaks at 8 o'clock tonight, and look, I'm not going to stream it, and you shouldn't even bother watching it because we're in what's called the Fed's blackout period. So if you look at this, right, here is the Bank of Atlanta showing you the Fed's blackout dates, right? What the blackout means is that he cannot speak on monetary policy. He is literally not allowed to speak on monetary policy. And you can kind of see for the next few weeks, we are in the Fed's blackout period up until the next rate decision. Sorry, this song is a little bit too crazy. Yeah, so you can see November 29th to December 11th, we are in that period right now. We're in the Fed's blackout period. He's not going to say anything about markets. He is literally just going to comment. And again, you might run into people who want you to watch their stream, right? People want you to watch their stream, and so they're going to or follow them. They're going to hype it up like it's some big catalyst for markets, like it's some grand event for markets. But again, I'm here to tell you, it's not going to be. Powell's not going to say anything about economics. He's not allowed to. He is barred from saying anything about monetary policy and outlook. You know, the only thing Powell is going to talk about today is Powell is only going to talk about let me find it. If I see the actual schedule for this, Powell is just going to give a discussion on George Shultz and his economic policy contributions. He's going to be talking about George Shultz and how great of a guy George Shultz is. That's it. That's all he's going to say. He's going to say, hey, look at all this good stuff George Shultz did. None of it's going to move markets in any significant way. Again, like, if I thought it was important, I would stream it. It's not important at all. No offense. So, market is a bit heavy for sure. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely a little scarier this morning. Bitcoin falling down, NASDAQ's falling down. If we get a bounce, I might short it, but I kind of have to wait for it, I think. Again, US dollar, Japanese yen down 0.7%. Goldman Sachs announces agreement to acquire Innovator Capital Management. We can look at silver here. Silver up to 57s right now. I remember when $50 was a big thing. Look, a week ago, silver was at roughly $50. Now it has flown all the way up. It's almost at $58. Broke 58 for a little while for silver. So silver is up huge today. If we take a look at gold, gold is up some as well. Gold's up a pretty big amount. It's up to all-time highs, close to all-time highs. All-time highs are about 4,400. We're at 4,300 for gold, but gold is extended. Oil is up as well from 58.40s to 59.20s here. So oil is back up as well. So yeah, the precious metals, oil, all rising this morning. Microchips down, Nvidia down, AMD down, Google down, Meta down. Tech stocks are mostly down. Netflix is down, Amazon is down. So markets are mostly red this morning. And today we have ISM manufacturing PMI data. We got a bunch of stuff this week. Usually I like look at MarketWatch, but MarketWatch hasn't really updated it. But yeah, we got S&P manufacturing data today at 9:45 in the morning. 10 a.m. we got ISM manufacturing. Wednesday we got ADP non-farm data and ISM services. Thursday we got jobless claims. Friday we have PCE inflation data and consumer sentiment data as well. So, and then I think next week we get CPI inflation, if I'm not mistaken. And I think we're still getting the CPI data. Let me check. But I'm worried that's why some of these other platforms haven't necessarily updated their system here. Because we're supposed to get CPI next week, I think. Yeah, we're supposed to get CPI on Wednesday next week. And it's also the rate decision day. So, a lot of stuff going down on Wednesday next week. But I don't really see. Let me look at the BL. All right. Guys, release dates. Okay, they got a whole gang of stuff. Okay, so October CPI is canceled. We should still get November data though. Yeah, we get the November data. Okay, so that's yeah, so they pushed the November data. It's not next Wednesday. It's now going to be December 18th at 8:30. They canceled October's data. The next payroll report is going to be on December 16th. We also get the updated JOLTS report for October. Or no, they canceled the JOLTS report. Got PPI, 5th. Wait, are we not getting PCE this week too? I think it would be Friday. I'll have to go back and check. I think we get PCE this week. It would be December 5th. But PCE actually is done by the Bureau of Economic. So Yeah, we're still watching markets. If we get a bounce up there, we're kind of flat right now. And again, Friday, it was really weird. The futures market was halted for a long time. A long time. So, yeah, the futures market was halted. They said it was from a glitch. Okay, the new date's December 5th. It's already bad. My Forex analysis keeps liquidating me and then going my way. Yeah, the yen carry dynamic is what's dropping Bitcoin. Essentially, just to summarize it, Ueda basically came out saying that they were going to be hawkish. The Bank of Japan specifically was going to be hawkish in their upcoming meeting on, I think the 18th is when their meeting is. Might be the 19th. A hawkish leader in Japan, means higher interest rates. And people use the Japanese yen historically for its low interest rate environment to buy up bonds and other stuff with it. And so essentially a hawkish Bank of Japan means that they're going to be raising interest rates, which means that they're going to have less favorable interest rates, and people have started unloading. And you can see Bitcoin is down to under 86,000 on this news. Markets are down overall on it. Nvidia is dropping a little bit. So yeah. And again, in crypto, a lot of the time, big movements happen Friday or Sunday, right? Friday or Sunday, historically, is when crypto moves. I've always said this, like if you watch Bitcoin and you watch when it moves, a lot of the time it moves the most when other markets are closed, when other markets are down. Holidays, when conventional markets are shut down, Bitcoin, crypto can make big moves on the upside and downside here. So increase from 80 to 93K last week. Was that a relief rally? Yeah, I mean, we're back down to 85s right now in Bitcoin. Could be relief. Probably was at least a little bit of that, but we'll see what happens today. Oh, Maestro? I'm assuming you're talking about me here, Yeah. I was saying we kind of held up last week because they didn't want people to discuss how bad the market was over the holiday. Still super strange that Powell is having an unusual Q&A at a memorial event during a blackout. Yeah, but he's technically not allowed to speak on monetary policy. Again, Powell tonight is not going to move markets. Anybody acting like it is doesn't really check. Like, I would assume people would be able to check just like I did. Here's the blackout period. It started on the 29th. So the blackout period, which means that the Fed is not allowed to speak about monetary policy, outlook, decisions, all that stuff. It started on Saturday. So it started from Saturday up to December 11th, which is next Thursday. They are literally barred from speaking about monetary policy. They're not allowed to speak about monetary policy. So whatever Powell says tonight is not going to have anything to do with markets. And he's probably just going to say George Shultz is a great dude. He did great things. It's an event for honoring George Shultz. So he's going to say, look at all these great things, George has done. He's a great guy. That's basically what Powell's going to say tonight. He's a great guy. Look at all this great stuff he did. The end. You're welcome. Okay, I give this stuff to you early. That's what he's going to say tonight. Today will make or break all markets. December is normally yeah, December is historically bullish. Oh wait, is today Cyber Monday? It is, isn't it? Did anybody go Black Friday shopping? I didn't. I don't think I've ever been Black Friday shopping ever. I'm not gonna start right now. My knees hurt. I'm not gonna jeopardize that trying to save $5 on a TV. You know what I mean? What's up, Chef? Crypto channel said December was historically bearish for crypto. Yeah, that might be true. Generally, the best months for markets are November, December, and January. Crypto's a different animal, though. Also, Goldman Sachs, or no, I already covered that. Bank of America has recently changed its tune. Originally, it thought we would not cut rates in December. Now, Bank of America thinks we are going to cut rates on the 10th. So, I'm not going to say I told you guys so. I'm not going to say it, but, you know. I told you we'd probably do 25, 25, 25. People argued with me. That's okay. You know. Maybe I'm still wrong. Bro, is the recession coming? I don't like the markets nowadays. My brother left at 3 a.m. See, I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. for anybody. Except for you guys. Yeah, I don't like standing in line or crowds either. I hate the store as it is. Like, Carol's got to pull teeth to get me to go to the grocery store with her, because I hate the grocery store. Like, the normal grocery store, not, you know, the super crowded grocery store. I just get bored. I don't have advice. Want to be a trader? And if you ever want to really be a trader, you know, don't listen to my advice. I don't have advice. Nothing here is financial advice. I don't even know what financial advice is, but I definitely don't speak it here. All right. But Pew. Most of the deals are fake anyway. Yeah, I could probably agree with that. All right, guys. Markets are breaking down. If I could short a bounce, I would, but we don't really. Nothing's bouncy enough. Honestly, I've been trying to talk Carol into doing the pickup orders for groceries. Her argument against it is always that she wants to handpick the grapes, or she wants to handpick the meat. You know, she doesn't want, because basically her argument is that if you let them pick it out for you, they're going to give you the worst about to expire foods, basically. And I can't really argue with that logic. I think that's probably true as well. So. I feel like this week is going to be bearish anyway. Yeah, I mean, today's definitely starting bearish. Look at Bitcoin, man. Bitcoin's still falling down here. It's at 85,729s. We're at 25,237s. Yeah, she was right. She's right. You know, I never really have an argument against that because it makes sense. You know. Temporary dip for Bitcoin before going back. I hope so. I really do. Grinch stole our Christmas. He did, bro. Who's the Grinch is the question. At this point, the Bank of Japan is hawkish, and that's dragging a lot of stuff down. Is Jerome Powell the Grinch? Let me know. Happy wife, happy life. Yeah, no, I know. I get it. I don't really argue that much about it. I just don't go to the store with her. Carol went to the store on Thanksgiving. I told her not to. She needed like gravy or. Yeah, the carry trade dynamic is affecting things. Yeah, again, if we get a bounce, I'll short. But it needs to be a larger bounce up here. Look at Nvidia starting to rebound back up. It's starting to make some moves back up. If we get breaking news. Gosh, dude. Yeah, Carol made the coffee. So strong. So strong. It's almost too strong. Like, it's so bitter. News is so quiet this morning. I mean, markets are down. Yeah, no, I'm not mad at the Bank of Japan for raising rates. Again, I'm not really mad at them for it. I understand why. You can't always maintain a super low interest rate environment. It's going to cause inflation. You know, it sounds good. I would love to have low interest rates all the time. But, you know, if you do it indefinitely, it's going to eventually, people are going to spend too much and prices are going to spike. 21? Dude, I wish I was. Actually, I don't. It's 21. What was I doing at 21? I was doing a bunch of stuff I probably shouldn't have been. A bad Friday. Yeah, I didn't trade. I didn't even want to sit down. Like when I looked at the markets on Friday, I woke up at like 5 a.m. like I normally do. By the time I sat down, you know, markets were so choppy. And I just decided not to stream. Bitcoin just about to have another huge drop. Yeah, Bitcoin's still falling, but look at this pop. So we are getting a little bit of a pop in Bitcoin. Here's 86,000. I think we should watch 86K. Yeah, I don't know if this is a dead cat bounce yet. I think we got ISM manufacturing people. See what that looks like. Jim Cramer says, quote, this knee-jerk, somewhat vicious decline smacks of an anticipation of hedge funds freaking out over the Japan carry trade, endless worries about it. Injudicious. I don't even know what that word means. Hyperscaler spending and strategy Bitcoin. Given that at this level, they are almost the same thing. Hate how you call it every big candle a pop. I mean, I would argue a pop is not, you know, if I said rip, I understand you getting mad at me for saying rip, but pop is just kind of like, it's popping up a little bit. It's just a small little recovery bounce. You know, it doesn't mean it's not going down. I would say pop is less indicative of a big move. Maybe rip, you could make that argument, but it's okay. I appreciate you being here regardless of whether you don't like me saying pop or rip or whatever. I got this news here. Somebody had a news squawk had a selling error. They called it buns, but they said bonds are continuing to move lower on rising commodity prices. Falls below 128.50 with technicians saying 128.37. Officially hawkish Bank of Japan commentary overnight is also said to be weighing on global fixed income more generally today. Let's look at this level. Yeah, I noticed you can't make everybody happy. You know, it's okay. Let's do a poll. I haven't done a poll today. Well, today's price action, continue red or rebound back up. All right, there's the poll. Vote on the poll. Will today's price action continue red or rebound back up? Vote on the poll. Let me know what you guys think. Where's MicroStrategy? I'm sure it's kind of a struggle right now for MicroStrategy, huh? Yeah, it's 167s. Looking a little scary. Jerome Powell's not announcing his resignation. Again, he's not going to be saying anything market related, anything big. He's not going to also step down, what, 4 months, 5 months before his term ends? He's not going to do that. Just gonna, not unless he's gotten like deep pressure from it, but I just don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, look, Bitcoin ripping down. We're down at 85,617s here. I should have shorted this 250 level. Coffee is so strong. All right, looking at the poll, 53%, 55% now. I think we're going to continue red. 48%. I think we're going to rebound back up here. Again, the story of the day is Bank of Japan hawkishness. Dude, I wake up in the morning, my nose is all stuffed up. Yeah, so Ueda indicated that the Bank of Japan is going to actively weigh a rate hike at the December meeting. He said that the decision will depend heavily on wage trends and how firmly inflation stays around 2%. He suggested that moderate rate increases would not derail Japan's recovery, signaling more comfort with moving away from negative or low interest rates if wage growth remains solid. And again, that's what's dragging crypto down. At least people are speculating. Bitcoin down to 85.5s. Jay Powell is speaking tonight at 8 p.m. He's not going to say anything about markets. The Fed is in a blackout period from November 29th, which was this past Saturday, to December 11th. Okay? Meaning, Powell's not allowed to speak about markets, economic outlook, anything like that during, especially not about rates, until after December 11th here, chat. So Powell is not going to speak about anything like that. He's basically just going to say, hey, George Shultz is a great guy. You know, you heard it here first. Powell's going to say good things about George Shultz, who is the person that the whole meeting thing is, the whole thing is about. So. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, I try to put on instrumentals. Then they just throw in some stuff like that. Yeah, look at Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin down to 85 force. 85 force here. Look at this. Still dropping fast. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be pressure on MicroStrategy if Bitcoin keeps dropping and the stock trades below the value of what it holds, for sure. I mean, I think that's just like a psychological thing as well. But there's not any like definitive evidence of a hard like 80,000 liquidate everything move. It's more of risk management, depending on what happens if they start to go negative. You know what I mean? And I think that's a big level. It's a big psychological area. But I don't know. Yeah, I can turn it down a little bit. Buying the VIX up. Yeah, I mean, you buy the VIX up if you think the market's going to keep dropping. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not an investment professional. We are not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. I can't guarantee anything, guys. Not an investment professional here. Not liable if you lose money. Don't copy me. Don't do it. But with that said, the VIX is going to be elevated today. It's still low, though. It's still not necessarily high, but yeah, it's up to 1820s today. Yeah, I mean, when they get a new Fed chairman, I think they're going to be much more dovish. Yeah, I think that's something that we're going to see. Dovish Fed. I think that might be what market wants. I'm not sure. Omnicom is going to cut over 4,000 jobs in the IPG takeover, according to the financial. Still kind of a quiet day here. We got ISM manufacturing, PMI, and other stuff coming out. Look at Bitcoin. Look, 85,000 on Bitcoin is right here. Look at Bitcoin fall. NASDAQ still heading down here. Definitely a reddish Monday. YouTubers are not happy with today's Bitcoin drop. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really happy. I wouldn't say I'm happy about Bitcoin going down. You know. It's gonna be easy for a few Fed shares to be dovish. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're seeing weakness in the labor market. I don't know if we're seeing recession weakness. I'm wondering when we're gonna get the next GDP update. Like, a lot of people say we're in a recession, but the GDP data doesn't necessarily show it. GDP is usually done. I'm trying to see. So we're not gonna get. Okay, so the next GDP report we get is gonna be December 23rd. I have the initial estimate for the third quarter 2025. Silver's flying up this morning. Look at the NASDAQ. See, I wanted to short a bounce. We didn't quite get a big enough one. Whoa, look at Bitcoin, guys. Look at Bitcoin right now. Jumped under 85,000 for a split second and then popped right back over it. Look at this drop in the NASDAQ here. Let me see if there's any news, but man, look at these drops. Again, it's a scary looking day today, man. Look at a little scary here. Look at the NASDAQ pummel down, or plummet, whichever P word I want to use. Gold would like to disagree with you. Maybe. Silver's definitely up today. Look at silver. Silver, man, what a move. Silver in the last week has gone from 50 to 58 or so. Bitcoin under 85,000 now. Again, for the NASDAQ, I think we should look at like 25,000 down here if it continues this weakness. Look at Bitcoin. I mean, do y'all think Bitcoin's gonna react well if we cut rates in December? Possibly. Man, look at these drops. Yeah, the screams from here. I'm totally done with crypto. Money. What is this the result of? It's mostly the result of the yen carry dynamic unwinding a little bit. One of the leaders, Ueda, from the Bank of Japan, essentially said that they might raise rates in December. That makes a higher interest rate for the Bank of Japan. It unwinds the yen carry dynamic, which is basically just people using the low or negative interest rate environment of the Japanese yen and then using that to buy up a bunch of buy up assets in a low interest way. And so when that dynamic unwinds, some stuff starts selling off, including Bitcoin. But Bitcoin just bounced right back over 85,000. Dipped under 85 for a second. It's back up over it. Bitcoin dumped under 5,000. It's back over it now though. Look at it. If it holds. I almost want to buy the, you know what, I might actually buy back right here. If I can get it. All right. Add a little. Go. Love to see it. We'll take half off of it. I'll hold the rest. Like Bitcoin. Market is tanking on a mite. Yeah, I mean, buy the rumor, sell the news. What we usually get. We popped all the way up there. I didn't catch the sell though here. We don't like reject down, fight our way back up a little. I want to add back here. Kind of. We'll add back. There we go. Half off. Quick. From the last little bit, roughly break even. Put the rest up there. Alright, not a bad little rebound trade. We'll take it. I think Bitcoin's, again, a lot of people saying that Bitcoin is like a leading indicator of sentiment. So Bitcoin bounces, maybe we get a little lag and the NASDAQ bounces, and I think that's kind of the trade I just took, and it worked. So we'll see if that continues. Are you a bull on Bitcoin, guys? Let me know in chat right now. I see a lot of crypto people. Are you bull on Bitcoin? Bitcoin back up to 85.4s. What about MicroStrategy? Reclaim 90K this week. Beginner trader, I told you my plasma flooded with people. Yeah, but wouldn't that be more indicative of inflation versus recessions? If that's true, and what you're saying is true, wouldn't that be more indicative of inflation? If things are unaffordable, that usually is inflation versus a recession. Recession means people are having a hard time finding jobs, which I'm not saying isn't true. Labor's weak for sure. But people being unable to afford things has more to do with inflation. Should have held that long, man. Look at this bounce. QT is ending today. That's true. I see bull. I'm more bullish on ETH than Bitcoin. Massive V-shape incoming. Everything to do with inflation. All right, so Bitcoin back over 85,000 here. V-shape. Looking at our poll, 62% think we're going to continue red today. Maybe I should have specified what assets I was talking about. I'm talking about both. NASDAQ, S&P, Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin has a lot further to fall. If you don't have a job, you can't afford anything either. I understand. Eventually, they're correlated. I understand that. Rate cut is I'm assuming you mean dump, not a pump. I don't know, man. I think people fear the labor right now. They fear a lot of stuff. So I've heard a lot more people saying we're in a recession over the last few months. I mean, we're not, but I've heard a lot of people say that. And so I think people are starting to fear the labor market a little bit more, especially since we've got some bad data in that regard. What is Bitcoin? Well, that's too deep to go into. I heard my friend say yesterday gas prices will never be back at $2 like before. I don't know. They might, honestly. I remember my aunt saying $2, $3 gas is cheap in the 2000s. And I remember a couple years ago they were at like what, 2 something. What are gas prices now? Yeah, they're $2.50 a gallon for regular unleaded here. So gas is wild. It fluctuates heavily. It depends on the price of oil. 263, what I'm showing. Why the government says everything is great should be good. Well, I mean, it's for the same reason anybody says it, right? Every president, doesn't matter if it's the current one or the previous one, they're going to say, look at all the stuff I did. Again, I've said this once, I'll say it again. Every president is going to do the same thing. They're going to use the same playbook. If the economy's weak, generally that means inflation is slowing. They're going to say, look what we have done. We've combated inflation. Look how great we are. If the economy's strong, but we have 7% inflation, they're going to say, look at our economy right now, guys. Look at what it's doing. I can't even get mad at them for it. This is just the playbook of every administration, every government. That's how it goes. You can't really knock them for it. That's how I'd probably be the same way. Again, not picking sides, either side. They're going to do the same thing. You're missing that the jobs are a lagging indicator. Well, some of them are lagging, some of them are not. Ones that we've gotten lately are definitely lagging. Jobless claims is more real time. I would say the weekly preliminary report is more real time. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not getting to that, Sativa. I'm not getting into that argument. Again, I'm against both of those things for the most part. But yeah. No worries until I see unemployment move. Unemployment moved up 4.4% last labor report. I don't know. I've heard of mixed things on whether Black Friday was good. I heard we broke records for Black Friday sales, is what I heard. I don't remember who said it. I still check things over the weekend, but not as heavily. But I heard we broke records for Black Friday sales. Again, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Powell's speech will dump the markets hard. Trust me. Why do you think Powell's speech will dump the markets? Powell is not going to say anything about economics, economic policy going forward, or monetary policy or outlook. He's not going to say anything about any of that stuff. He's not allowed to. He's literally barred from saying it. The blackout period started this past Saturday and it goes until December 11th, which means that he's not allowed to speak about economic policy moving forward, monetary policy outlook, or anything. He's not allowed to speak about it. He's speaking at an event honoring, I think his name is George Shultz. And so what is Powell going to say? Powell's going to talk about how great of a guy, how great George Shultz's policies and what he implemented are. He's not going to say anything about monetary policy outlook, anything like that. And anybody telling you he is lying to you, or they're just not on top of their stuff. If it was important, I would stream it tonight, even if it being at 8 o'clock. That's only 7 o'clock my time. I would stream it if it was important. But it's not. He's not going to say anything. Yeah, shout out to George. I don't know who George is, but shout out to him. Nah, he's not announcing his resignation. Bro, they've been saying that about Powell for the last 4 months, bro. Again, I will eat my words if Jerome Powell resigns tonight. Why would he resign 5 months before his term is set to expire? Why? Of course he's not going to resign today. They're just trying to feed you stuff. The crypto people, look, I like Bitcoin. I'm in Bitcoin. I want it to go up. But some of the media that these guys feed you is just nonsense. It's just nonsense. You know? They've been, again, I've covered every major Jerome Powell speech over the last years. I've been covering this stuff. For the last 6 months, every time Jerome Powell speaks publicly, that people put out the rumor that he's going to resign, and then he doesn't. And then they say, oh, well, you know, I thought he was. Yeah. Come on now, guys. Y'all be smart. Do better, crypto. Do better. Okay, stop manipulating people to, you know, get hyped up about things they shouldn't be hyped up about. Nobody wants to watch Jerome Powell talk about how great of a guy George Shultz is at 8 o'clock tonight. Again, MicroStrategy's downside is blamed on concerns it might be forced to sell some of its $56 billion crypto haul if token prices continue to fall. But Bitcoin is starting to bounce back here. Bassett might be about to take his position, but it's going to be in May when his term expires, not in December before it. You know? Do y'all want me to stream it just on the base chance he might resign? Don't you think if he resigned, he would wait until we weren't in the Fed's blackout period to do so? Look at Bitcoin pop back up. Bitcoin almost back up to 86,000 here. He'll finish his term, guys. He's like 4 months before his term ends. Why would he resign 4 months before his term ends? Nonsensical. You know? Yeah, I don't think he's going to resign either. I think it's a bad look, and they're going to let him finish his term. I think even the president said they would let him finish his term. And I'll put it this way. If Powell resigned and Bassett or Hassett took his place, genuinely, I think markets would go up. Especially crypto. I think crypto would go up. Why? Because whoever's going to take his place is usually going to be more dovish because of the current administration is the one appointing the new person. Right? So the current administration is only going to appoint someone who wants easing. And so I think crypto would probably react favorably to that. I also don't think they're going to do it before the December 10th meeting. You know, I think it would cause chaos. You know, listen, we are less than 10 days ahead of the next FOMC decision. Why would they replace Powell? Why would Powell resign 10 days before the FOMC? It just doesn't make sense. It would look bad, I think. Yeah, again, maybe you're right, recycled. And again, if you're right, you know, I can definitely be wrong. I can definitely be wrong. I don't think I am, but I don't ever think I'm wrong. And so maybe that, you know, I'll put it this way. If I have to eat my words, I'll give you credit for it. But I don't think I will. And again, I've covered all the Powell speeches. Every single Powell speech, they say the same thing. They say what you're saying right now. Every single time. Usually it's just crypto people getting others hyped up about something, you know. All right, so Nvidia and Synopsis announced a strategic partnership to revolutionize engineering and design. Nvidia is going to invest $2 billion into S&PS stock at $414.79 a share for Nvidia. So we did get some Nvidia news. Here's S&PS. Look at them pop on this news. S&PS is up on this news. Good for microchips. Good for S&PS. $414.79 a share. It's up to 460s right now. Right, so again, Michael Saylor's strategy established a $1.44 billion USD reserve for dividend payments. Again, they formed a $1.44 billion reserve and an increase in its Bitcoin reserve to 600,000 Bitcoin. Strategy only bought 130 Bitcoin November 17th to the 30th. Yeah, maybe it's different, but I don't think that we yeah, I just don't think that Powell's gonna step down. Again, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in chat right now. You guys think Powell stepped down tonight? Should I stream this just in case? I can stream it. Here, I gotta change the song. I don't necessarily dislike it. It's just a little bit too much. It seems too loud. Let me check. All right, let's watch 86K on Bitcoin. I'm watching 250 above us on the NASDAQ. Yeah, I'm asking AI about these rumors. It says, AI basically agrees with me. It says there are rumors, but they look very low probability and completely unconfirmed. So far, there's no official signal from the Fed, no major mainstream outlet treating Powell resigns tonight as a base case. And previous resignation leaks this year turned out to be false. He's repeatedly indicated that he intends to serve out his term through mid-2026, and the administration is moving toward naming a successor on a normal times table, not through sudden resignation. Yeah, I mean, I agree with AI, to be honest. Again, I've seen a lot of these rumors already come out the last 6 months. We could say this one's different, and maybe it is. But Einstein's definition of insanity is continuously trying the same thing, expecting a different result. So I expect this to just be rumors, but... OpenAI is taking a stake in Thrive Holdings, a buyer of services firms, according to New York Times. All right, so again, here's this 250 level. I was thinking about shorting it, but I think I'm going to wait some. How did you ask it? I said, are there rumors of Powell resigning tonight? And if so, what is the likelihood that they're true? What I said. I bought my first house in 1999. It was $11,000 or $13,000. It must have been a crappy house. No offense. It's all love. Ain't no house that cheap in the 90s. I mean, there's probably some houses. I could probably find a house for that cheap now. It's not a good house though. Oh, interest rates? Powell feels he is right. He is acting on data. That isn't someone ready to resign. Ask it for the mathematical probability that he resigns. See, why are these songs too different? Like, listen to how loud this song is. $59K is a little bit more reasonable. Yeah, Airbus had some news this morning. .4% is historically low unemployment. Kind of. All right. Depends on which timetable we're looking at. I mean, there's a lot of stuff skewing this, though. But 4.4% is historically low. Here's a civilian unemployment rate over the last 20 years. You know, this skews it a lot. But, I mean, even without this spike, I think it's still going to be pretty skewed. You got to look at, like, generally speaking, during the big economic disasters, 2007, all this stuff. But 4.4% is historically low. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Okay. West Virginia? Mountain Mama? AMD at 213s. Let's see if 250s breaks. Powell feels like he's right. He's active on data. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're in a recession right now. I think the labor market looks weak, but doesn't necessarily mean a recession. We'll wait and see what the recent data shows. Jobless claims this Thursday will be interesting. We're also getting the ADP monthly report on Wednesday at 8:15 in the morning. So we'll see what the labor market looks like. But as for now, GDP, what indicates a recession is GDP. GDP, a recession is technically defined as 2 consecutive losing GDP quarters, like negative GDP quarters. So the last ones were like, I think they were like 3%, 3 something. So we're not in a recession right now, although we did get some delayed, data. I think the next one is going to be mid this month in terms of when the next GDP comes out. But are we in a are we in a bear market? What do you guys think? Are we in a bear market right now, guys? Let me know in chat right now. Yeah, Strategy now holds 650,000 Bitcoin, worth about $55 billion. Adobe said over half of online spend is expected to be driven by 3 categories: electronics, apparel, and furniture. Again, Nvidia invested $2 billion in synopsis at $4.15 a share. Basically, Nvidia invested at a buy price of $414.79 a share for S&P. As S&P has popped all the way to 450s. Yeah, I mean, the Psalms rule and all the other stuff about unemployment is making people scared. Maybe a temporary bear market, but as you said, the admin gets their way to the Fed, it will go up. It's debatable. Yeah, it's a little early, I think. I see no, depends, yes, yes. We had the bear market in 2022, no. Lower lows, lower highs equals bear market. Well, it depends on how long it continues. Maybe a temporary one. Not near all-time highs. I think it's too early to call it a bear market yet. I mean, if we look at the NASDAQ here. If you look at the NASDAQ, I don't know about that yet. I don't know. Again, QQQ sitting at what, 613s? I don't know. I don't know if I would consider this a bear market yet, guys. It's definitely like every year we get a little correction. It's normal. We're about right here right now. I don't know if I'd consider that a bear market yet. Maybe. I mean, we might. If we are, it's at the very beginning of one. I just don't know if I'd call that a bear market yet. Might short the NASDAQ here, though, speaking of bear markets. All right, I'll try to short here. We already got some green on the day. There we go. Look at that. I'd love to add a little bit more, but all right, we'll add a little bit more. We already got some green, so that's good. I might add another one here. I'll just trade with some profit on the... The Bitcoin's moving up, so if the thesis about Bitcoin being a leading indicator is correct, let's see. There we go. Let's take a piece off there. There we go. I'm gonna take another half off there. All Or another third. Yeah, half off. We're kind of flat on the rest. We got about an hour until the market opens. We got ISM manufacturing PMI today as well. Everything is just a delay. Be patient. Break April's lows and you got a bear market. I mean, I don't know. But crypto definitely, as of now. But I don't know about everything else. All right, we're green here, but yeah, I'd love to break down a little bit more. Go ahead and cut it down here. Perfect opportunity for companies to cut the dead weight. People quietly quitting. Maybe. Kind of rangy now. Yeah, that 250 level held, so that's what we shorted into. All right, Bitcoin under 86,000 again for a little while. Let's see if it holds down. Bulls are delayed, not canceled. Yeah. Bitcoin is doing dead cat bounces. It's going to 71,000 at least. Maybe. Where do you think the bottom is on Bitcoin? I've asked this before. People previously said it was like 88. They said it was 80. They said it was a bunch of different things. Where do you guys think the bottom is on Bitcoin? $75, 49 to 65, 55,000 by September, 45. Yeah, I don't think he's quitting either. 74, 878, 60, 60, who knows, 36, 80, 74, 70, 43. I like 50. 50 seems like a whole number. If everything crashes, I would go mid 50s, 60,000 max. Where the bear's finally right about something. 74,000 is where it bounced last time. Yeah, I mean, I think going back to the previous top makes sense. And so if we go back here, might have to put a longer term chart up, but here's that weekly chart. There we go. This level makes sense to me right here. Previous top up there. You know, where it was the top of the previous bull run, right around 70, 69,000. I think that level makes sense. But we'll see. You know, a little wild. Bitcoin dropped all the way this morning, what, down to 84s. Yeah, 84s this morning, so back up to 86s though, so let's see if it holds. $55K in play. Every time Bitcoin trades below the 55 EMA, we go to the 257. I just don't think Powell's going to resign tonight. I don't think he's going to. Why would he resign in the middle of a blackout period 9 days before the Fed meeting? Yeah, Japanese rates spiked. There's definitely a correlation with the crypto drops that we're seeing. Yeah, Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy. I keep calling it MicroStrategy, but it really is strategy. Now holds 650K Bitcoin worth 55.8 billion. Santa rally starts Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday we get the prelim Or no, Wednesday we get ADP non-farm employment change data. He fears what's coming. If he does resign, which he's not going to, I don't think, but if he does, it might scare markets. I mean, you can go either way. You could say Powell resigns, we get a more dovish Fed chairman, and then they lower interest rates more aggressively and ease, you know. Or you could say Powell resigning is like a panic move, and, you know, markets are going to freak out because what that means. You know, I think either way, either one of them could happen. We got ISM manufacturing PMI today at 10 a.m. Also, the U.S. housing market faces a price correction, according to analyst Melody Wright. She says it could be, quote, worse than 2008. Home prices could drop by half as soon as next year. Home prices drop by half, I'll probably buy more stuff up. I think that's the only way you can beat that type of stuff long term, is just to average in. Silver's not in a bear market. Gold is elevated, almost at all-time highs. Buy now, pay later usage surged up 9% overall. 41% of shoppers age 16 to 24 using buy now, pay later, and younger millennials boosting usage by a massive 87% year over year. Yeah, I've looked at silver already this morning. Here's silver. It's up to 57s. 58s. I dare you to sell me more half-off homes. That's what I'm saying. Listen, if house prices drop 50%, dude, I am buying some stuff. Discounts. Nvidia is starting to bounce up at 175s or so, a little bit under it. Again, OpenAI took an ownership in Thrive Holdings to accelerate enterprise AI adoption. No loans? Yeah, I mean, it's not about loans. I mean, I think if we continue to get interest rate cuts, yeah, I mean, we're pretty much sideways right now. We're not really doing much. Woke up this morning, Bitcoin down and all coins. Yeah, all of them are basically red. What is Powell saying now? Powell speaks tonight. It's not gonna, again, he's talked about this once. Maybe I'll stream it just because of the rumors. And but again, here is the Fed blackout period date. Meaning the Federal Reserve and officials from the Federal Reserve like Jerome Powell are not allowed to speak about policy and outlook, which would be right now. between November 29th, which is Saturday, and December 11th, which is the day after the Fed meeting. When will you stop trading in the month of December? I mean, why would I stop trading in the month of December? Volatility is generally good for markets, depending on how much volatility you get. And again, the VIX is down over the last few weeks, but up today on the drops we're seeing. Here's the VIX, 18s right now, which is not necessarily high. 18s is about right here, so we're still pretty low in the VIX. You know, NASDAQ, S&P are closer to highs. You know, we're pretty close to those levels. Yeah, I don't think Powell's resigning either. Powell is speaking. Powell is speaking at. Again, it says Powell will have brief remarks and panel discussions with Michael Boskin and Condoleezza Rice on George Shultz and his economic policy contributions. Right, so this is what the Powell thing is labeled for. This is what it says. So, like, this is what it says. And again, I think that proves even more he's not going to resign. Because brief remarks, panel discussions, specifically on George Shultz and his economic policy contributions. He's going to say, George Shultz is a great guy. George Shultz did this and this and this. And I really like that he did that stuff. And that's basically what Powell's going to say tonight. That's basically it. That's all he's going to say. Powell's out there socializing. Broadcom, Bank of America Global Research raises the price objective to 460 from 400. I also see some news that says that U.S. margin debt spiked $57 billion last month to a record $1.2 trillion, the highest jump ever for margin debt, jumped 40% in just 6 months, the biggest surge since the 2000 dot-com bubble. Also, Oppenheimer raised the price target of Amazon to 305 from 290. Yeah, gold's basically at 4,300. He's speaking? I don't think he's speaking right now. Again, sometimes, you know, some of these other streams, they manipulate you. Like, they will pretend like he's streaming live, and he's not. And then they'll clip a bunch of old speeches that he did so that people click, right? Because it'll give him higher clicks. And, but he's not speaking right now. He's speaking at 8 o'clock tonight. Like little man Jay. I have a hard time listening to Lil Man Jay, although I don't think all of his music is bad. I just have a hard time. It's hard for me to like get into the music. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna go. Shout out to Lil Man Jay. I hope he does well. You know. The old faithful train, gold. Yeah, look at that gold this morning here. We're at 4,300s for gold, basically. 4,300s right here. All-time high is just under 4,400s. No, that doesn't have anything to do with it hidden in the wire. It's more so like his rap music, knowing he's not like a gangster. It's hard to get into his rap music because of that. You know what I mean? Maybe his country stuff. I don't know. I don't really listen to him. I can't really say. But look, I respect him for doing his thing on the internet. You know, let him live his life. I'm for it, you know. Yeah, silver up $57, $58 a share. Look at gold. Gold's getting pretty close to the high of the last, what is this? When's the last time we got up here? Yeah, gold hasn't really gotten up to this point since October, mid-October. It's up to almost 4,300s right now for gold. Yeah, mixed sentiments definitely here. And again, the problem I have, like, look, I like crypto. I want crypto to go up. But I've noticed this for a long time, especially during the shutdown. It was incredibly bad. Where people are just, at any moment in time, they have to act like it's the craziest thing going on. Right? They have to act like it's the craziest thing going on. A lot of the crypto people on social media during the shutdown said that once the government resumed, that the markets would run. Crypto markets would fly, and kind of the opposite happened. Like, just to put this into perspective, when we look at Bitcoin here on a daily chart, government resumed what, like November 14th? The government resumed here. Right here is when the government resumed. Just to zoom in here. The government resumed here. And they acted like crypto was going to fly once the government resumed. And if anything, the government shutdown was kind of buy the rumor, sell the news. The crypto kind of pushed up a little bit until, you know, the shutdown. And then once the market resumed, it just dumped down big. Now, there were reasons for this, but some of these guys are just telling you the craziest thing's going to happen, you know. And, like, I think you got to be more objective than that. I think I could tell you guys it's the craziest thing every day. I could tell you guys Jerome Powell is going to resign tonight. I could tell you all this different stuff to try to get you guys to watch my live stream. But it doesn't mean it's accurate. And I think at a certain point you got to read between the lines and just see that most of the time they're just trying to hype it up. And I get it. I'm not against it. But I don't necessarily trust anything they say either, you know. Yeah, I saw Broadcom got upgraded. Broadcom has had some crazy moves too. Bitcoin still down on the day though, pretty significantly. Again, they say this is from the yen carry dynamic, where the Bank of Japan, Japanese yen, gonna be more hawkish, more higher likelihood of a rate hike this month, and so that kind of unwinds the carry dynamic, and Bitcoin's falling down. And I think that's kind of something we're seeing here, but who knows? That's 2025. Who cares what reality is? Yeah, look, and I'm not against it as long as you just don't take everything they say as truth. I think if you take everything they say as truth, you're easily led astray, you know. And like, I think you should look at most things, not just crypto, but stocks, futures, markets in general. You got to look at everything with a certain degree of skepticism. Because you got to understand, like, people are going to be biased to pump up their own positions, their own assets, their own things. And so you got to look at everything with a certain degree of skepticism and maintain that, just because if you don't, again, you're led astray easily, especially in like penny stocks or, you know, crypto or wherever, you know, even, you know, microchips. There's some of that too. Yeah, I'm a natural skeptic. I'm skeptical of everything. I'm skeptical of the chat right now. I don't trust you guys. Except for Pawn. Price of silver goes above the price of oil. Yeah, I think that's true as well. Look, here's oil. Oil at 59s. Silver's not quite there yet. It's at 58s, but it's close. This looks like a short right here, too, at 250 now that we're back underneath it. Bitcoin falling down as well. I don't trust you either. You shouldn't. You know, you shouldn't. I'm just some dude on YouTube. You know? I don't trust this coffee right now. It's too strong. Carol made it too strong right now. I don't trust Lane Kiffin right now. Although I hope he does well. He's got to be better than Brian Kelly. Shout out to LSU. I definitely didn't trust Brian Kelly. I'm a bot? I believe that. You're definitely a bot. I trust you more than Michael Saylor. I trust Michael Saylor more than myself, you know. He's leaving Ole Miss. In a winning season, too. What, does Ole Miss have? One loss this season? I don't know, dude. If I was him, I'd probably... I don't care how... I don't know what the payment is for Lane. The last one I heard was like $90-something million. Listen. You give me $90 million, I'll leave, you know... I'll leave LSU as well. I'll start rooting for A&M. Nvidia and SoFi. Trader? You talking about Lane? Come on now, bro. Listen, somebody goes to you right now, MVK, and says, listen, MVK, stop rooting for Ole Miss. We'll give you $100 million right now. I'm taking that deal. Yeah. Not about the money. $100 million, sir. Look, I'm a huge LSU fan. I went to the LSU game last Saturday. Not this past Saturday, the one before that. I went to the LSU game. I love LSU. I grew up in Baton Rouge, you know. $100 million, though. Yeah, today is Cyber Monday. Let me know the best deals that you guys see on the internet right now. Again, I wanted to short this 250 level. Again, Bitcoin dipped under 85,000. Up a lot. Like, this was a while ago. Again, from the yen carry dynamic unwinding a little bit with higher interest rate sentiment by the Bank of Japan. Bonds pricing that in is what's going on. Yeah, let's take a look at yields. I don't think I've looked at them this morning. Yields are up to 4.06%, man. Yields have been moving, though, dude. They really have. Like, look at yields spike up this morning. Yields are up. What asset do you think is a buy right now in markets, guys? Bitcoin, you know, S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, individual stocks. Let me know in chat. The rate cut odds, I'm sure are still pretty high, though. Yeah, it's still 87% likelihood that we're going to cut rates. So. All right, so I asked people what asset they think is worth buying right now. Silver, Nvidia, Bitcoin, Meta, Unity, silver, platinum, oil, Bitcoin, gold, certain stocks. Lululemon might be time to buy. Where's Lululemon at right now? I've historically been a pretty big bear for Lululemon, but I think my bear case has been already proven correct. It's dropped down from like 600 down to under 200. I think my bear argument is right. Has been proven correct over time. Bitcoin back down to under 86 again. It's at 85, 680s. Maybe it is time to buy Lululemon. I don't know. Yeah, follow me on Twitter. X.com @beginnertrades. I don't know. The only problem with Lulu is that I see the coolness factor of Lululemon dwindling down a little bit. Look, I live with... I have a daughter. I have a wife. They love Lululemon, and that's great. but it's been less busy. It's still probably going to do well during the holidays though, but it's expensive. I think the leisure wear dynamic is changing the farther we get away from 2020. And so I think it's probably okay. Look, I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. I'm not necessarily buying anything from Lululemon, to be honest, but and I don't think it's without risk as well. But we'll have to wait and see. AMD down to 213s. Nvidia is starting to bounce up. It's almost up to 175s right now. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. What generally happens with stuff like this is that new generations sprout up and they don't want to wear what their parents wore, right? It's not the cool thing to do to wear Lululemon. Now the cool thing is like ultra baggy pants. And like maybe Lulu will get into that, but yeah. Yeah, solar, Enphase and solar. I'm going to show you guys this short that I did years and years ago. Let me see if I can find it. I got one somewhere here. Look for my shorts here. Look, I did this short. How long ago was this, man? I don't know how long ago this was. Put the volume up a little bit. I'll pause the music so you can hear it. But I did this short about solar years ago. There it is. All right. Again, I did this years ago. Oh. Yeah. You look great. You look great. I love you. Have a good day. But anyways, I did the short years ago. Okay, the problem with solar companies is that people are going door to door selling solar panels. What they're doing is they're wholesaling it. So like they are charging people who they go door to door huge fees to do it. Like they're doubling the cost of it, right? So they might go to a wholesaler and get the solar stuff for like 30K, right? And I'm not sure if these are the correct numbers, but this is basically what they do. They get the solar panels for 30K. They go to door and they sell it to naive consumers for 60K, right? And what happens is that they're financing this. So their monthly statements go up obscene amounts. Like a lot of the time, like they sell you on it like, oh, it's cheap. You know, this is going to save you so much money. And when people get the bill is actually higher than it was before if you include how much it costs to finance this. And a lot of these deals are financed for like 10, 15 years. So it's like, what is the purpose of this? Like, it seems like a scam market. And yeah, and again, I'm not saying it is, but I don't know when I posted this. How long ago? This was 2 years ago. I said this. So maybe I was wrong. I don't know. Again, I go on in that video to say, I don't know this market, right? Like, I don't know this market. I don't do this stuff. And I'm sure a bunch of people that sell solar panels are going to say, no, this isn't true. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not saying I was wrong. I'm not saying I was right. But let me know if you guys agree with that. Yeah, 2 years ago, I made that short. And again, you gotta, the overarching point is be skeptical because, you know, you'll avoid big losses if you are. Yeah, Nvidia tapped 175s. ENPH, man, what a downfall. This company, 339s down to $28 a share. You're an oracle? Dude, we're in a simulation anyway. It doesn't matter. The president is supposed to host an Oval Office meeting related to Venezuela today. Is the music too loud now? There, I'll turn it down a little bit. Tax credits expiring, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Also, guys, check out Topep. You want to help support the channel? No PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, commodities. Very similar to day trading stocks. No PDT rule in futures. It's a great way to learn when most day traders lose money. Great way to learn when most day traders lose money. I would rather risk $50 if I fail. It's not the end of the world versus funding 5, 10, 20, 30 grand into my own account and losing that, like a lot of new traders end up doing. No PDT in futures. If you pass it, you get a 90% split anyway. They've recently reduced their activation fees and more. Great way to learn. And again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them. I'll pin the link to the top of the chat. You can check it out. Again, there's the link. If you want to check it out, I'll pin it to the top of the chat. But yeah, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased for sure. Top 3 most biased ever, they say. Hey, dude. How you doing, man? Love you, bud.
Love you, Dad.
Have a good day at school, bud. You all right this morning? Probably got to drink some water, dude. All right, bud. Love you, man. Yeah, I'm using them right now. I've traded on today. The company is down 94% and is very profitable. It's time to buy. Which company are you talking about? You talking about Enphase? What do you guys want for Christmas this year, guys? I'm not getting it for you. I'm just curious. What are you guys getting your kids this year, bro? I feel like I buy my kids too much stuff. Like when I was young and my parents were like, what do you want for Christmas? Dude, I'm plotting that out. I'm like, I want this thing, I want this monster truck, I want this video game. I asked both of my kids what they want for Christmas. They tell me they don't know. They don't know. How do you not know what you want for Christmas? What am I supposed to do as a parent? I buy them too much stuff. They don't even value gifts anymore. That's a problem. Yeah, went through the Sears catalog, found the video game section, circled a bunch of stuff on there. But this is all the stuff I want. Right. I told my kids I'm buying them too much stuff. My son probably wants video game money. I refuse to do it. I'm not supporting pay to win concepts here. Last time Japanese yield with this high was June 2008. Yeah, no, I saw that. And I think that's what's making Bitcoin drop. You know, the carry dynamic. A lot of the time, the Bank of Japan has a negative interest rate, or at least a super low one, and people use that to leverage out a bunch of U.S. assets. With the Bank of Japan probably raising rates this month, that dynamic is unwinding a little bit, and we're seeing sell-offs in crypto and others. That's what people are blaming on the crypto drop, is the yen carry dynamic unwinding a little bit. I want a gaming PC. See, last year I got my kids laptops. I don't think they've used those things at all. They've played Fortnite on them a couple times. Now I've adopted them as work computers. Give them a gift somewhere. Give them a Jelly of the Month card. Yeah. Market's so sideways here, guys. We got 40 minutes until the market's open. All right, guys, we're at 250s right now. We're still looking weak here, but we're at the bottom of the range. Gold finally kind of dipping down. Got really close to 4,300. Got up to 42.9960 in gold futures. All the way down to 42.80s right now. Yeah, the problem with giving them gaming laptops, I think they're too young. I think if I got my son when he's like 14, a gaming laptop, he'd love it. You know, I got him one when he was 11. And he already plays Xbox. So telling him, hey, you know, instead of playing on the big flat screen TV, you need to play on this small monitor laptop. That's a hard sell for him. I should have thought about it beforehand. Bitcoin popping back up. We're almost up to 86,000 though. Retro games are in demand. Yeah, I got really close to buying one of those old ones that said it had all the... I want to play Ocarina of Time with my son, but I don't feel like buying an N64. You know, but they got one of those handhelds. It's supposed to have all that stuff on it. That's all I get ads for now. Maybe I'll get him one of those. Maybe a new Atari. Make them play it when they're in trouble. Yeah, I'll bust out Pong and tell them whoever wins has to do the, or the other one has to do the dishes or something. That sounds like a good. Instead of playing rock paper scissors, we'll just make them play Pong. Bitcoin back up to 86,000 here, 86K. We already went to Disney World this year. I'm not going back there right now. Again, Bitcoin popping back up to 86. I'm looking at news. News is a little quiet today. It really is. I mean, aside from Bitcoin falling down at 5% plus, a little boring. Peter Schiff says today's the beginning of the end for MicroStrategy. Saylor was forced to sell stock not to buy Bitcoin, but to buy US dollars merely to fund MicroStrategy's interest. Stock is broken. Business model is fraud. Saylor's the biggest con man on Wall Street. Peter Schiff. You guys agree with him? Yeah, we're not a big Harry Potter family. I mean, I like Harry Potter. I grew up on the old movies. But my kids never really got into it. They like... I always like Universal better. I always like the Jaws ride at Universal. I remember the Jaws ride. I went when they had like the Back to the Future ride. I think they had King Kong. And again, we got ISM manufacturing PMI today. Markets are choppy. Peter, polarizing figure. I don't necessarily agree with him. At least I hope he's wrong. Because I think for the same reason you can accumulate shares and then create stocks and funds based around that. I think you probably do the same thing with crypto. But I think the bear markets, you're always going to get heat. You're always going to get fear. Maybe it's just confirmation bias on mine where I hope he's wrong. Yeah, I heard that. I heard they replaced Jaws. Yeah, all the big 80s movies, 100%. In hindsight, the rides were a little bit underwhelming. But as a kid, I thought they were great. It's probably time to replace them. I don't think they would cut it nowadays. All right. Yeah, markets are just flat right now, man. Bitcoin sideways, NASDAQ is sideways, S&P is sideways. Gold's pulling back a little bit. Here's the SPY this morning, 678s. Nvidia went to 175s, and then now it's back down underneath it. It's right around the 200 exponential, so we might bounce right here. Oh, I remember the alien one. And he came, like, it was all in dark, though. The alien one's just, everything's dark, and he breathes on you. The one I remember. Last time I went to Universal was in, like, where they all had the, like, slime thing, and they would, like, film TV shows there. It was a long time ago. Silver is now set to post its first 12-month candlestick with 100% gain since 1979. Yeah. Tom Lee still says Bitcoin can make new all-time highs by the end of January. Didn't he say Bitcoin would be at 250K by the end of this year? Again, I want crypto to go up, but all right, there's the NASDAQ pop up here. Nvidia bouncing right around that 200 EMA. Bitcoin still at 86,000. SPY at 679s. The problem with crypto, and again, I'm in Bitcoin. I want it to go up. I'm in crypto as well. I want it to go up. The problem is that you got too many people just saying what they want to happen. You know? Again, I could say, hey, I'm going to win the lottery tomorrow. Guys. It doesn't make it probable. You know? And I think you see a lot of that in crypto. People just putting out these wild numbers. Pretty sure Kathy Wood said Bitcoin would be over 1 million by now or something crazy. I think it's reasonable to expect Bitcoin to go up over time. I think because it's such a new asset, though, the timing is difficult to predict. You know, I think I want it to be at 250,000, but I think it's hard to predict accurately. And I think people need to go into it with that understanding and understand that some of these analysts are just telling you what you want to hear. If you're in Bitcoin, you probably want to hear Bitcoin's going to be 250K by the end of the year. You probably want it to be 1 million, of course, but it doesn't make it probable short term. Short term's hard to predict. It's too new of a market. Yeah, 100K was a wild number it got there. Yeah. Hewlett Packard says H3C holdings are set to sell counterparties a total of 9% of total issued share capital of H3C for about $643 million. Again, November 2025, speaking about crypto, is ranked as the second worst month for Bitcoin over the past 3 years, according to CryptoRank. Who do you guys think is going to be the next Fed chairman? Your name tells me everything. Again, you shouldn't be emotional about things. It's okay. You know? don't think me saying, hey, Bitcoin's difficult to predict short term is necessarily wrong. I think that's pretty obvious. I don't think saying that crypto people exaggerate where they think crypto is going to go because that's what they want to happen and it's confirmation bias. I don't think that's a wild thing to say either. And again, I'm in Bitcoin. I wanted to go up. So if me saying those things makes you upset, you might be a little emotional, and that's okay. I get it. If I was, you know, Bitcoin's down to 86,000, it's a scary time. Amazon and Google to team up. Yeah, I see that. I still like Amazon as a stock. I think Amazon, not an investment professional, guys. I'm not an investment professional. It's almost green on the day. Amazon, I think, is going to continue to grow. I think I see very little in terms of competition to Amazon. I think the more time that goes on, Amazon is becoming more and more useful to the country, especially, and to the rest of the world. I think a lot of people are dependent on Amazon at this point in time. And so for Amazon, I'm very optimistic about the stock long term. I think it's going to be hard for them not to do well long term. And if you disagree, let me know. Again, Amazon AWS is likely to debut new Nova multimodal AI model at their reInvent. Anthropic deals with Google and Microsoft complicate AWS ties, according to the information. Klarna reports 45% Black Friday growth. They saw 45% year-over-year increase in U.S. sales for November 1st through Black Friday. Footwear, tech, beauty, and home goods all performed. Birkenstock led footwear. Birkenstocks? Dude, we really are back to the 90s here. I've already seen baggy pants and Birkenstocks. The cool thing. What are we going to do? Start selling fossil watches now? I wouldn't be surprised. Bring rollerblades back. You know? I think they might be back too. AirPod 4s, top tech, PS5 models, LED gaming. Again, the president is Venezuela, meaning he's going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Netflix. What about Netflix? I mean, it's down, but tech is pulling back. Is it time to buy Netflix? It's at almost $100. I assume. Bring back Double Dare, dude. Not the Double Dare. What was the gaming one? The gaming one was always the cool one, where they put the people into the video games and let them compete. I can't remember what it was called. Bring back that one. Yeah, Bitcoin back up to 86,280s here. Again, Visa is going to make agentic commerce solutions available in Amazon Web Services Marketplace and Amazon Bedrock Agent Core. We've seen AWS go down a lot, though. Also, we have Piper Sandler saying that U.S. outlook is underrated. Concerns about a weakening U.S. economy are overstated, says Piper Sandler's Nancy Lazar. She notes strong holiday and back-to-school shopping as signs consumers remain confident. Historically, solid consumer spending has helped revive job markets after slowdowns with profits strong. She expects hiring to pick up in the second quarter of next year and says early signs of job growth are appearing. Yeah, it might have been Nick Arcade or something like that. Legends of the Hidden Temple pawn. That one was good. I always feel like... Never mind. I always feel like those kids could have done better, though. I'm watching it at home like I could do that. HPE expands Nvidia AI computing by HPE portfolio. I want crypto to go away. I'm looking at yields, guys. Yields are continuing to spike this morning. Here's a 5-day chart for yields. Look at this. So yields, guys, have continued to rise. This is showing a higher interest rate sentiment. Although, if we look at the Fed watch tool, it's virtually unchanged. Last few times I looked at it, it's still at 87. It's actually gone up a little bit. We're at almost 88% right now. If you take a look at rates, we're still at 88% basically for a rate hike this month in December. Lawn darts might have been before my time. I don't know. I never really used them. If we're talking about street sharks, that was the toy. Markets are still pretty choppy though. Every time we start to push up, we kind of come back down a little bit. Here's gold. Gold's dipping down quick too. Look at gold. Gold all the way down to 42.77. Filled about half of the gap it was up on today. Yeah, rate cut is what I said, right? Did I say rate hike? I meant rate cut. I think Nvidia will drop lower AI reaching peak hype and increased competition make me think they won't go any higher. Yeah, you might be right. I don't know. Or he needs to close Nvidia short before he gets margin called. Question is, did he close the short already? He closed out Scion. Again, MicroStrategy announced news earlier that they're creating a $1.4 billion reserve to cover preferred stock divvies and interest on its debt funded through its ADM Class A share sales. Last week, they said 4.5 million people went to AMC theaters. More than 6.9 million people were guests at our theaters this week, Adam Aaron says. What was that, for the Zootopia 2 movie or something like that? Movie theaters are still dying, though, unfortunately. Yeah, like I said, I never had to deal with that pawn. 90s laser tag? Yeah, for sure. Alright, guys. Listen, we got 20 minutes until the market opens. 20 minutes. Will we get a bullish or bearish open? Should I do another poll here? I think I probably should. We asked people, will today's price action continue or continue red or rebound? We're going to do another poll. Are you bullish or bearish for the opening bell? All right, so here's the other poll. Are you bullish or bearish for today's opening bell? Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Vote on the poll. Let me know what you guys think. NASDAQ's starting to fight its way back up to 275s now. Bitcoin holding at 86,000 and rebounding some as well. Again, HPE and Nvidia are going to launch an AI factory lab in France. Amazon says 12 Lab launches Moringo 3.0 on 12 Labs and Amazon Bedrock. I love movies. But movie theaters are struggling. You know, and it makes sense why, because like a lot of the big movies come out. A lot of the big movies come out direct to streaming now. So, also one. Hey, I appreciate the donation. I mean, look, I'm gonna be real with you about this. This is a super cheap penny stock. It's just not really my style of trade, and the long-term chart looks horrible. And so most penny stocks are sketchy. I would just be really careful with it. I mean, this thing spikes, but it's also risky, you know. And so I would just be very, very careful. But it's not really my style, brother. I appreciate the donation, though. But I'm not really messing with a 24-cent stock. It's just not my thing, man. I don't hate them. I just am skeptical more than regular stocks, as you should be. Any stock that's 25 cents a share, you should naturally be skeptical of the stock, right? Why? Because they're hyped up, they're pumped up, they're dumped. CEOs usually don't even believe in them half the time, and they're just looking for a pump so they can unload on all the retail traders. You know what I mean? And so I'm just really skeptical of these. But good luck. I hope it goes up for you if you're in it. I hope you make money. But I'm just not really interested in it. I don't really trade penny stocks. I think a lot of the time, like, penny stock gurus will sell you courses on how to make money with penny stocks, but the markets are so sketchy that, like, making consistent profits is usually virtually impossible to do. And they're just kind of selling you a course and making money that way. And, you know, people want to believe that you can trade a 25-cent company because maybe they don't have that much startup capital, right? So they want to believe that you can have all this consistency trading penny stocks, but I think it's just not there. I think it's virtually impossible to make money consistently in penny stocks unless you're pumping and dumping stocks to a following, which should be frowned upon, of course. Yeah. Penny stocks were the first thing I got involved with. I didn't stay with them because they're terrible. Maybe some people can make money doing it. It's not me, though. NASDAQ's starting to pop back up, though. We're almost at 25,300s here. Nvidia IPO'd at $12 a share in 1999. If you look back at this, it's been split so many times that if you go back and look at this, maybe, you know, but it IPO'd at $12 a share, so it depends on what you call a penny stock. Most healthy companies are never penny stocks, though, and they've just been split so much that when people look back at the history, people have this misconception that it's kind of like a growth cycle. Stocks start off as penny stocks, and then one day they're large cap stocks, and then they grow to mega cap stocks. That's usually not what happens. Most of the time, successful companies like Meta, you know, Apple, Amazon, most of the time they're never penny stocks. They're never under $5 a share. Anyways, NASDAQ's starting to rise here. Powell speaks at 8 p.m. tonight, but he's not going to say anything regarding outlook or markets. He's not allowed to. We're in the Fed's blackout period. So, I don't know if I'm going to stream it yet. The only reason I might stream it is people are giving out rumors that he might resign. I don't think he's going to, but just in case, maybe I'll stream it. So I don't know. All right, look at that 300 level rejecting here. We got 15 minutes into the open. I did watch one battle after another. It was good. It was good. I liked it. Had a bit too political for me, but I still liked it as a movie. It was good. Yeah, I've got some altcoins. Alright, so we're dipping down here a little bit. I might buy this dip right now. We're going to try to buy this dip. Yeah, I don't think Powell's resigning today. Why would Powell resign 9 days before the FOMC meeting? 4 months before his term ends. I don't think that makes any sense at all. I think what's going on is a bunch of social media pages want to hype it up and make it seem relevant. That they say all this stuff's going to happen, so you tune into their stuff. What I think. But there is rumors that he might resign. I just don't think he is. There was rumors he would resign during, I think it was Jackson Hole Symposium, and he didn't. Yeah. Would you trade OpenAI when it goes public? I'm not a big IPO guy. I don't really like buying IPOs. There's too much swings and risk. I usually like to let it settle a little bit before I buy into companies like that. All right, I'm going to add to this position here. We got a big cushion on the day, so we'll see if we pop back up. But we got a reasonable cushion here. There we go. All right, take a half off. Another piece off up there. Will the rest break even? We're just gonna sell right there. So we got out mostly flat on that position, but we didn't lose on this dip, so that's good. See if 275 holds us up. Yeah, again, we're in the Fed's blackout period, so they're not allowed to speak about monetary policy. You know? We're still dipping here. 265 maybe? That's never good pawn. All right, chat. We got 12 minutes until the market opens. Still want to buy this dip, I think. I'm going to try it again. I don't know. That's a big drop. We'll try it right here. Very quick. See if we can scalp this move. Flat. We can go green. Flat. What's green? Go. Take half off there. Get another bounce. All right, so Rick's Banks Theden says quarter 3 GDP is a bit stronger than expected, and the upturn in the economy appears to have come a little later than forecast. There we go. I'll cut it up here if I can. I got the bounce at the 200 EMA at 265. I like how people don't even care about the context of Powell speaking. I mean, Powell was speaking. Brief remarks and panel discussions with Michael Boskin and Condoleezza Rice on George Shultz and his economic policy contributions. Does that sound like it's market moving? He's not even allowed to say anything regarding outlook in the economy or rates. And so he's just going to talk about how great of a guy George Shultz is and his economic policy contributions. That's all he's going to say tonight. I get people want a catalyst, but it's not. Again, I usually cover every time Powell speaks, unless it's something like this. I don't know if I'm going to cover this one yet. I don't know. But looks like I sold just in time here. NASDAQ still breaking down a little bit more. Nvidia at 175 even. Bitcoin's sitting at around 86 even. You guys know me. I'm not going to tell people what they want to hear just to get views. I think that's easy. U.S. Trade Representative confirms earlier reports announces agreement in principle on pharmaceutical pricing between the U.S. and United Kingdom. Right, Steve. He's going to say George is great. You know, right. Look at all the stuff he did. What a great guy. I don't know who George is personally. Maybe I should, but I don't. So. When do you think quantitative easing is going to start? I don't know. Depends on the data. Hey, thank you, Mo. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. U.S. Commerce Secretary says deal will strengthen supply chains, creating jobs in the United States regarding the U.S. and U.K. pharmaceutical deal. Yeah, maybe, Steve. I don't necessarily want QE. I get it. Like, people wanted to save crypto and others, but QE might spike inflation more than everything else. So I'm okay with gradual rate cuts, but printing is a different thing. And I guess it all depends on how weak the markets are, and the labor markets, I mean, and what GDP looks like. But QE December 1st, no, not necessarily. Like, so today's December 1st, right? But again, they can end QT without starting QE, right? And what that would look like is QT, quantitative tightening, is reducing the balance sheet over time. QE is expanding the balance sheet through money printing over time. They could keep it the same size, and if a bond matures, they could replace it with the same bond, you know, a newer same bond, and thus keep the balance sheet the same size, right? That's possible. So just because we're ending QT doesn't necessarily mean we're starting QE. It could mean that. We'll have to wait and see what happens. We also get the dot plot this December meeting, so we'll get some economic projections moving forward by the Fed as well, which will be interesting to see on December 10th. So see what happens. Yeah, December 1st is when they're ending QT, which is today. They're ending their quantitative tightening, the reduction of their balance sheet. All right, guys, we got 6 minutes into the market open. 6 minutes. Ooh, let's see what we get today, guys. See what we get. I heard a few sources talking about QE in December. They should tell us if they start to print more, and maybe they'll tell us in December. It's possible for sure. Still dropping here in the NASDAQ though, ahead of the opening bell. We're green on the day. We mostly made money today. So the UK NHS will raise net price for new medicines by 25%, according to the US. Said US trade representative said US will work to ensure that UK citizens have access to the latest pharma breakthroughs, or refrain from targeting UK pharmaceutical pricing practices. A further Section 301 investigating for duration of president's term. Deal calls for the UK NHS to increase the net price it pays for new medicines by 25%. Morgan Stanley says Alphabet could unlock major revenue as Google sharply increases tensor processing TPU production. Supply chain checks now point to about 5 million TPUs in 27 and 7 million in 28, far above estimates. Every 500,000 TPU could add around 13 billion in revenue and 0.4% EPS to Google, planning 12 million TPUs over 2 years. They see it rising, benefiting Google. Our mix for the opening bell. Yeah, looking at our poll, we're pretty much 50-50 split out of almost 300 votes here. So I gotta stand up a little bit, man. Hold on. Ugh. Stand up on this leg. All right. All right, guys, opening bells here. Remember, we got manufacturing PMI at 9:45. We also have ISM, which is a little bit more influential manufacturing PMI data at 10 a.m. So we got some stuff dropping after the bell today. It's not huge, but it's something. And maybe it'll move markets. And again, this precedes this week's ADP monthly report on Wednesday at 8:15 in the morning. Thursday, we have jobless claims. And then Friday, we have PCE inflation. So we'll see what we get. But it is set to move things. What happened to jiu-jitsu stuff? What about it? About to start training again. Been out with a knee injury. My knee is healed. We're coming back. I gotta take it slow when I come back, but still. Does the doc tell you to take it easy or walk more? Both. Doc said my MCL is healed. I'm doing plasma injections into my meniscus though. My meniscus is torn too, but he said that was an old injury. I used to skateboard a lot and jump off stairs and stuff, so I'm sure that's where my meniscus was torn. As well as like my meniscus doesn't hurt at all. So it's looking like it's an old injury, like degeneration injury from skateboarding when I was younger. But yeah, anyways, NASDAQ, I'm watching 250 here. 250 seems to be a relevant level to watch. We got less than a minute until the market opens. Yeah, I'm on BPC. All right, guys, we got 40 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. Bro used to be gnar. I was, dude. As a teenager, man. I skateboarded a lot. Alright, guys. We got 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Yeah, let's see what happens at the opening bell, guys. Y'all be safe today. It's a lot of backwards and forwards action here. We're seeing some swings just before. Here we go. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. Here we go. There is the opening bell. I'm watching Nvidia. We're going to watch like maybe gold. Some other stuff too. All right, so we got a pop up to 275 here. Look at that level. Now we just ripped over it. We're seeing some green at the opening bell. AMD is up. We're looking at Meta. NASDAQ's rising, at least initially here. A lot of stuff's up. Remember, we do have manufacturing PMI at 9:45 and then ISM manufacturing PMI at 10 a.m. Nvidia's coming down though. See if it holds down to this level right here. Nothing too crazy yet at the opening bell here. We're about a minute in. We got some green though. See if we continue up. Again, I gotta just wait before I trade actively here. Gotta wait a little bit first. Meta down to 640s. But still green since the opening bell. AMD's pushing. Nvidia's falling though, guys. Look at Nvidia. All right, we basically filled the whole opening candle. See what happens now. This is why I wait. Look at Nvidia down to 173s. Watching 170. I think 170 is a big psychological level for Nvidia here that it probably wants to stay over, but see if this opening pressure continues to push the markets down. Yeah, I mean, sometimes that first candle is just the wrong move. That's why I'll wait. Still dropping in the NASDAQ here. Nvidia is starting to pop a little bit back up, though. It's at 174s. You guys bull or bear on this movement? Yeah, here goes Nvidia heading back up some. Not the whole way yet. Starting to get back up there. Look at that. Synopsis is up 5% after Nvidia investing $2 billion. All right, so Nvidia back now technically green since the opening bell. Kind of choppy up and down right now. I gotta wait for something to happen first. Seems bullish, but we're also at the top of the range of the open, so I'm gonna wait. Nvidia's starting to rise here. MicroStrategy down to 164s right now. 164s. Here's Google. Google looks green now too. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang says the deal with Synopsis is huge, according to CNBC. Again, apparently Jensen is speaking on CNBC right now. I said the deal with Synopsis, which is S&PS, is huge. I think it's helping Nvidia rally up a little bit. Bitcoin back up to 86 threes. Still struggling to make any big move up though. Yeah, we got ISM manufacturing PMI at 10 a.m. We got regular PMI at 9:55. Still pushing. We're at 25 threes. What's your take on gold today? I think the carry dynamic helped it gap up a little bit. Fear and uncertainty benefits gold. Close to all-time highs. I don't know where it's going. It's already up a lot this year. Because of what happens. I'd almost want to buy this dip. What time is it? Alright, I could actually buy this. Get another dip. I think I might have. I'm going to buy it down here. We already got a cushion on the day. We'll try to add to it. We're not going to add more than this. We're just going to leave this alone. Go. I'm going to take half off just to protect it. Got the bounce. Go. Got it right there. I'm scalping this morning. We've been choppy. Right, now we're dipping right back down. So we broke this recent high. I don't know if this is the high of the day. No, it's not. Then we just got rejected quick up there. But Nvidia is still rising here. Nvidia is almost green on the day. 177 even is the red to green level for Nvidia. So it's almost green. All right, I got top chat up instead of live chat, so. You guys red or green today? I'm green. Bitcoin's still rising. You know, you hear so many different like arguments from banks. TD Security expects global GDP growth to ease to 2.8% next year, down from 3% this year. Slower growth attributed to geopolitical stuff, core inflation, and lingering effects of trade policy. Again, MicroStrategy, guys. Down to 165s. Bounced a little bit though. Bitcoin's starting to rise back up. NASDAQ and S&P are rising here a little bit as well. Let's see if Nvidia goes green on the day. Again, Nvidia CEO said earlier the deal with Synopsis is huge. No trading. Green. Green. Free FSD. Tesla run. Only take trades after 9:45. Better edge. Yeah, I get it. I get it for sure. Most of my stuff's back up this morning. Oh yeah, guys, at 9:45 we got manufacturing PMI. I forgot. Yeah, we got manufacturing PMI 9:45. I don't know if the initial one, the global PMI, is going to really move things either, but it's something. We'll cover it. ISM PMI data at 10 a.m., which is a little bit larger and more influential. Manufacturing PMI expected at 51.9 for November. ISM expected at 49 for November. Green, green. No trading for me today. Green from holding Friday. All right, we got this big dip here. MicroStrategy just cracked lows on a 163. A big turn in markets here. And Bank of America now flips their forecast to a December cut being the highest probability. MicroStrategy back up though. NASDAQ with a big candle. Retail getting trashed, yeah. Oh, be careful today, man. It's a little sketchy. Yeah, we're starting to dip down. We're at 25,250s here. Again, manufacturing PMI at 945. Oh, be careful. Again, treasury yields are still on a rise after a corporate bond deal issue. Its 10-year yield last up 6.5 basis points at 4.085%. Sketchy is one word for it. Yeah, we're just swinging up and down. Again, I'm kind of flat. I guess I'm bearish right now. But I really have no idea what's going to happen here. But I guess I'm bearish. We're not really easily like trending. So I think it's kind of difficult to figure out where we're going here. But yeah, I guess I'm bearish. What do you guys bearish or bullish right now? Powell says 53% are bullish. Again, it's we got manufacturing PMI in 3 minutes. 51.9 is what's expected at. Bitcoin's still falling down. Let's see if it holds 86,000. Yeah, I mean, it looks bearish here. But Nvidia is also trying to go green on the day. Nvidia is right around 177 here. It dipped down, it tested it, but... All right, here we go. We're pushing down. Again, yields are up to almost 4.09% for 10-year. Just not much meat on any of these big moves here that we're seeing. 2 minutes. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're caught up. We'll keep the stream rolling here, but ISM data is going to be large. They'll break it down here. Look, we're at 25,230s. Crack the recent lows here. It's not the low of the day, though. Low of the day, we're heading close to it, though. Low of the day is right around 25,200s here. Oh, look at this breakdown here, chat. We're getting close to the low of the day on the NASDAQ here. Yeah, bears. And again, this is leading in the manufacturing PMI data coming out in about a minute. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're in 2x speed. We'll catch... We'll do this live as soon as it happens. Also, guys, we need less than 200 subs to break 168,000. So subscribe, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. They're still dropping here. Silver hit record highs earlier this morning. Gold back over 4,200s. See what we get now. All right, guys, we got 30 seconds. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you put it on 2x speed. You'll catch up to the stream here. Manufacturing PMI, not ISM, but regular global manufacturing PMI for November expected at 51.9. 51.9. In about 20 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Catch up. We'll see if this moves markets. And yeah, here we go. 51.9 expected. Last time was 52.5. Big rebound on candle here. Look at the NASDAQ pop right back up. Nvidia now technically green on the day. Look at it. It's at 177.30 here. 4 seconds. 2 seconds. Here's the report. 52.2. 52.2 for global manufacturing PMI. 52.2. They expected 51.9. So it's actually a little bit stronger than expected at 52.2 for global manufacturing PMI. The big one, ISM PMI, drops in 15 minutes. And again, it's 52.2. Versus expected 40 or 51.9 is what it was. Again, Nvidia, AMD rising, microchip strength over the last 2 minutes here. But again, we showed up at 52.2 versus 51.9 expected. A little bit stronger than expected manufacturing PMI. ISM data drops in 10 minutes. Look at this pop up here. Look at AMD and Nvidia. Again, the ISM data drops in 15 minutes. Still rising here, fighting all the way back. Again, AMD technically green on the day now. Nvidia technically green on the day now. Bitcoin bouncing at 86,000. Rate cut odds still close to 90%. 52.2 for global manufacturing data. We're seeing a rebound in markets here. ISM data should move it a little bit more, but we'll see. Maybe not. And Jensen Huang said AI is going to transform every single industry. Every single industry will be transformed by AI, according to Nvidia CEO. Still rebounding all the way back up. Look at AMD, guys. 218s. Nvidia up to almost 180s here. Strength. AMD. 219s here. Again, manufacturing PMI showed stronger than expected, 52.2. Also, guys, check out Topep. You want to help support the channel. You want to learn to day trade. Most day traders lose money. It makes sense to limit your risk instead of funding thousands into your own account. It makes sense to limit your risk. Try Topep. It's $50 for the base one. You pass it, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. You fail, you lose 50 bucks. It's the best of both worlds. Similar to funding your own account in terms of split. Less risk, in my opinion. Again, they're a sponsor, I'm unbiased. Genuinely less risk. They recently lowered their activation fee as well. There's also a no activation fee option. Just a really good way to learn. It's kind of like a souped up demo account. And again, most day traders lose. And so I'll put the link up if you want to check it out. They are a sponsor of mine. I am biased, of course, but I think it's genuinely useful for traders. Go to check it out. Here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. Put the link in chat just now. NASDAQ is still rising here. AMD back up to 218s. EverQuest. I remember EverQuest. My computer never quite could handle it. When they say bubble, what exactly does that mean if the stock crashes? Do you guys think we're in a bubble right now? Yeah, that's fine, Corey. Do you guys think we're in a bubble right now? I want to buy this dip here, but I also don't quite trust it. But I'll try to buy the dip. All right, we just bought it, and we got a rise. Let's see if we continue to get a rise. I'll add it down to 95. There we go. We go up here. We're very green on the day, so I can cut it if I need to. I'd love to see this dip get bought up, and I guess I'll trade with the risk that I have on this. There we go. We're back up to flat. Let's go green. There we go. Look at that trade. Love to see it. Sell right here, I think. I think I need to, huh? Very nice trade. Very nice trade. Pretty green on the day. Not many losses. I think I had one loss that I rebounded from in the next trade. I had maybe like 5 trades. Let's see what I'm looking at this morning. Only at 60%. Oh no, that's for the last month. I'm at 60. Today I'm at 81%. I've had 16 trades, 13 are green, 3 are red. Yeah, that makes more sense. Bitcoin now down under 86K though. Where's MicroStrategy at? Is it still falling? Not really. It's bouncing back a little bit. Weak on the day though still. Bubbles don't last long. Bubbles are bubbles because they're not profitable. We are not in a bubble. Company valuations relative to inflation. No. Company valuations relative to the dollar. Benefiting carry trade. Yes. Bubble is realish. Thought a lot of their AI hopes aren't there yet. Yeah, but we could grow into them. Depends if shorting or not. Ooh. All right, guys, we got 8 minutes until ISM manufacturing PMI data. Kind of a choppy market today, though. I don't think it's necessarily easy to figure out where we're going here. Should I stream Jerome Powell tonight, guys? That's what I don't know yet. I know it's not. We're in the Fed blackout period, and so I'm pretty sure it's just a waste of time. I don't think Jerome Powell's even allowed to say anything about outlook, despite what a lot of social media pages are claiming. I don't think he's gonna say anything about markets. I don't think he's stepping down either. I think that's just a rumor. Again, Jensen Huang said about 5 minutes ago, AI is going to transform every single industry. Yeah, I think it's hard to figure out what to do here. I don't even think he's going to say dual mandate. I don't think he's going to say anything about economics. I don't think he's allowed to. We're in the blackout period. It lasts from the 29th, which was this past Saturday, up to the 11th, the day after the Fed meeting. I don't think he's allowed to say anything regarding outlook in monetary policy. All right, guys, we got ISM data at 7 minutes. Markets are creeping up, though. They're still red on the day, I think. Yeah, I mean, things are still pretty red on the day, but they're starting to fight back up a little bit. Bitcoin trying to hold 86,000. Yeah, Mantis. It's like, are you afraid of the dark? But it's the Fed members. That's right. They sit around and tell scary stories around the fire, you know. All right, guys, we're up to 329s, 330s. Put PMI below, please. PMI's not out. It drops at 10 a.m. in 6 minutes. The regular one's pinned at the top of the chat. It's at 52.2. You can see it pinned at the top of the chat. NASDAQ still breaking recent highs. Bitcoin still holding at that previous closing price right here. Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, Nvidia, right around 178. Previous closing price is 177. So. This is a custom indicator that I've used to document the previous closing price. NASDAQ pushing up here. Look, right around 350s now. Right around 350s. Markets are starting to bounce back a little bit now. All right, so the U.S. government on the pharma deal with the U.K. says the U.K. government will also invest around 25% more in innovative, safe, and effective treatments. Less than 5 minutes before ISM data comes out. Yeah, so the Nvidia CEO on China says China is a, quote, bonus opportunity for the future. Currently, the company is focused on strong global demand, which is skyrocketing. If China becomes a key market, it would benefit Nvidia, the US, and the world, he says. Jensen Huang, Nvidia CEO. You guys agree with him? I mean, he's framing it like China's not important, and I think that market is important, but I also think it's a foreign market, so it's harder to get, you know, real deep in there with business, due to just competition with, you know, their own national companies. All right, look at the market pop, though, here. Market's heading up. We got 4 minutes until ISM PMI data comes out. 4 minutes. Next Tuesday is bigger than the Fed meeting. What's the next Tuesday? We don't get CPI next week. It's pushed back. I can't. Next Tuesday. Yeah, I think CPI is rescheduled. What happens next Tuesday? Oh, your birthday. All right, guys. NASDAQ still higher here, 275. Bitcoin bouncing still. SPY bouncing. Nvidia green on the day, technically. So climbing here. Again, ISM manufacturing PMI in 3 minutes, chat. 3 minutes. See if we hold. I mean, SPY's still red. Nvidia's green. NASDAQ's red. SPY is red. S&P is red. But they're green since the opening bell. Bristol Myers CEO says company anticipates being able to invest up to $500 million over the next 5 years after the UK-US pharma deal was announced this morning. All right, guys, we got less than 2 minutes here. Less than 2 minutes. No, I know they're not, Lee. I mean, I understand. You know, GameStop earnings next Tuesday. I stopped covering GameStop earnings. There's too many new traders that have gotten involved with AMC GameStop, and they've just gotten kind of talked into it. And, you know, it's just not the same. GameStop's stagnated anyway. I think the community as a whole lost momentum. I'm just not worth covering. Probably ARFA, but who knows? But probably. All right, guys, we got 1 minute left. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. You'll catch up to the stream. All right, guys, 45 seconds. 45 seconds. Again, ISM manufacturing PMI, it's expected at 48.6. Last time was 48.7. Drops in 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. We'll see what this brings markets. Again, it's expected. Actually, I'm showing 49. Yeah, I'm showing a 49 expectation. The other one shows 48.6. Last time was 48.7. All right, hit the live button next to the play button. We got 10 seconds here, chat. And here's the report right now. All right, it came in at 48.2. 48.2 versus 49. Weaker than expected ISM manufacturing PMI. 48.2 versus 49. ISM manufacturing prices showed 48 or 58.5 versus 59.5. But again, weaker than expected. 48.2 versus 49 expected here. So a little bit weaker than expected ISM manufacturing PMI. It's not really moving markets, but I'll put this up on screen. Again, we showed up at 48.2 versus 49. 48.2 versus 49. For ISM manufacturing PMI. A little bit weaker than expected. Here's the data right here in chat. And this is causing somewhat of a dip, but it's not a huge dip so far. It means weaker manufacturing sector than expected, is what this means. PMI is the Purchasing Managers Index. ISM is the Institute of Supply Management data. Basically, over 50 means an expansion in manufacturing. Below 50 means a contraction. And the more below 50 it is, the weaker it is, right? So if it showed up at 48.2... and they expected 49, it shows a bigger contraction in manufacturing than expected is what this shows. But yeah. With that said, guys, it's time for me to cut out of here. Let's take a look at yields real quick. Again, check out Topep. You want to help support the channel. Great way to learn. Most day traders lose money. It just makes sense to learn in this context. I'll put the link up one more time. Again, they recently lowered their activation fees and more. Just really useful. 0 commission on Topep X as well. So just really useful. There's the link. Again, they're sponsor mine. I'm biased, of course. Understand all this stuff on screen, guys. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. Can't guarantee anything. Tomorrow, we got some more stuff going on. We will see if the market holds tomorrow, guys. We will see. Well, today in red or green? Let me know in chat right now. Well, today in red or green? Let me know. Will the wild swings continue into tomorrow, guys? And again, as soon as we close this stream, it's immediately going to bring you to tomorrow's stream for December 2nd. So again, as soon as we close this stream, it'll bring you tomorrow. Red, green. Thanks. Great show. Again, we got Jerome Powell tonight. I'm still unsure of whether I'm going to cover it. I'm probably not going to. Just because I don't think he's going to say anything that's going to move markets at all. I think it's going to be a waste of time. But again, I'm going to close the stream. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Have a great day. I'll see you guys at the next stream. Y'all be safe.